We have Soldier X, or I guess Captain X I could call him. We have Soldier X joining us coming up in about 30 minutes. We have his military ID card. We have his documents. We checked into this. Rob Dew did the big interview yesterday on the Nightly News, InfoWars Nightly News. National Guard whistleblower in Texas. Doomsday preppers will be targeted as terrorists. And then Melissa Melton goes through in a big list of documents where this is actually backed up in mainstream media as well. You know, the government demonizes preppers, constitutionalists, gun owners, libertarians, conservatives, and number one, returning veterans. Because they know that returning veterans know the truth of what's going on, and they've done actuary breakdowns knowing most of them are patriots. You see, it's just paradox of the troops are good on average, the police are even good on average from my research, but the leadership is corrupt. So we're going to be breaking that down today, and Paul Watson sent me the raw video this morning. He's done some clips of it with text we're going to be playing, and I know Ted Turner's a monster. In fact, I remember him on C-SPAN back in the mid-90s saying that, you know, the general public are useless eaters. Useless eaters, that's a Hitler quote he was reissuing. And he said we should reduce the world population by 90%. And that was also picked up by Autobahn magazine as a quote from him. So the point is, he's a guy who has 5 kids, the biggest landowner in the U.S., dozens of aircraft. I mean, and, you know, on record, a giant consumer. He says you should only have 1 kid. He's got 5 children. So more power to you, brother. You don't criticize me for having 3, you punk. You simpering globalist who... Guys, will you print me the ABC News article, Secret Meeting of Billionaires to Discuss Population? It was also in The Guardian. ABC and Guardian have a similar headline, but billionaires meet in secret to discuss population. And they said, yeah, we're setting up our own little private global government, you know, to reduce your numbers. And so many yuppies and people go, good, there are too many people at the grocery store on the hike and bike trail. Or, yeah, moron, you're being targeted too, you idiot. Stop playing like you're, you know, up there with the elites because you agree with this. You're just agreeing to be smashed, flattered, and pancake yourself. But it's this fantasy they have. I mean, it's standard with trendy, quote, liberal yuppies that they're not really liberal trendies. They are vicious, know-it-all control freaks who want to reduce population. So this is breaking here. He said this several nights ago, but 2 nights ago on Piers Morgan. And it's so mainstream now to say, Ted Turner, I think it's good U.S. troops are killing themselves. That's the bombshell. Ted Turner, I think it's good U.S. troops are killing themselves. That is so bombshell. And he said it on a show with, well, Nielsen says 1 million ratings, a million viewers. But, you know, Nielsen, they've been caught fudging stuff for MSNBC, CNN, and others. But, I mean, still, it's seen overseas by a lot, but domestic audience of maybe 500,000, best we can tell. Still, I mean, that's 500,000 people. I'll guarantee you, back when I was on one radio station 17 years ago, and we probably had, you know, 40,000 listeners at any one time every 15 minutes, hundreds of thousands listened to it off and on. And I had an audience, a couple 100,000 people. It was rated number 2 at night in all of radio at one point. That's even up against music. My point is, if I went on the air and said in front of 500,000 people back then that, you know, I'm glad the troops are committing suicide, folks, I would be beat up by the time I got in my car. I would be fired within hours. But he goes on CNN and says it, and everybody agrees with him. That's coming up. It's good the troops are committing suicide. Insider billionaire investors like George Soros and John Paulson have recently made massive moves into gold, purchasing what Bloomberg News described as gold hoards. Soros alone doubled his holdings in a single day. Russia's Vladimir Putin has doubled down on gold, increasing the country's holdings by over 100%, with $1.8 trillion under management. The bond king, Bill Gross, the world's preeminent bond fund manager at PIMCO, has warned investors of the dangers of QE3 and inflation. And what's he betting on? You guessed it, gold. Friends, this is Alex Jones for MidasResources.com. For more than 15 years, I have exclusively used Midas Resources for all my precious metal needs. Whether it's bullion or collectibles you're looking for, Midas Resources is simply the best. I own my gold as a hedge against inflation. This Federal Reserve fiat currency could go the way of the Deutschmark and the Weimar Republic anytime. In these historically dangerous times, it makes sense to physically hold gold and silver. Midas already has some of the best deals in the industry. But if you give them a call and mention the radio special, they will give you a list of the day's super specials. Midas brokers are standing by to answer all your questions at 800-686-2237. They also have a lot of informative free literature explaining the opportunities and risk of holding precious metals. They are ready to answer your questions at 800-686-2237. Again, that's 800-686-2237. Ted Turner, 2 nights ago on CNN, said he is, quote, glad and that it's good, and began to say that it was basically fantastic that U.S. troops are committing suicide at, last time I checked, something like 10 times World War II levels. It's an all-time record. You can pull up the numbers yourself, but you've seen it in the news. It is just off the chart. Ted Turner, I think it's, quote, good U.S. troops are killing themselves. And he said he thinks the UN should have a world government, a new world order, and that we should be disarmed. And that the UN should be the world policeman. Watson sent me the full clip from CNN's site, and I sat there with my mouth hanging open for 10 minutes watching the exchange. He's got links to that in his article up at Infowars.com. If you just tuned in, I'm Alex Jones. And I am anti-globalist, anti-New World Order because, well, I have the Wall Street Journal here in my hand. Billionaires try to shrink world's population, report says. And they got caught meeting in a secret meeting. In fact, guys, it's this article in the Times of London around here. That's the one I really want, that link there in the article. A billionaire club in bid to curb world population. And they said, we want a world government to forcibly reduce population by 90%. And you know what? I happen to know they're spraying aluminum dioxide on the West. I happen to know they've been caught putting sterilants in vaccines. I happen to know that they write books bragging. In fact, you know what? I keep forgetting. Will somebody run in front of the cameras? It's okay. And give me that Eco-Science by John P. Holdren there in my stack. I don't want to just keep saying, hey, it's in John P. Holdren's book. You can just type in John P. Holdren, put sterilants in water, and you'll pull up the entire book scanned online. And you'll pull up him saying stuff like that on C-SPAN and admitting they're chemtrailing us. They call it geoengineering. You know, I just tend to think it's a big deal when the world's ultra-rich have Hitler quotes like Ted Turner back in the mid-'90s on C-SPAN again, and it was quoted in Audubon magazine saying, there's too many useless eaters in the world. We need to reduce their numbers by 90%. And he's quoted many other magazines and publications saying similar things. So was Prince Philip, so was Prince Charles. And then you see, it's not just old eccentrics saying that. They're doing it. And so, see, here's Eco-Science, and I have it all referenced out. We did a 2-hour interview last year with Tarpley and posted it at prisonplanet.tv, where he went through the entire book with us, Dr. Tarpley, who's an expert on eugenics and their whole worldview. So, you know what? I think you might want to be a little concerned about this. Here it is. Ted Turner, I think it's good U.S. troops are killing themselves. CNN founder advocates UN taking role as global policeman. So we're going to get to that in a moment. And then National Guard whistleblower, and we've confirmed this, doomsday preppers will be treated as terrorists. And not only do we have his testimony and his ID card, and we made some contacts and confirmed he's in the National Guard currently, I have a giant stack here of research. Yeah, guys, we probably don't want his documents and IDs and stuff in my document dump. You guys take this out of the studio just so it doesn't get caught on camera. Thank you. Somebody stuck his details inside my document pouch. Thank you. Anyways, everything he says is actually reverse engineered. We're able to find it in mainstream news in pieces. So it's all confirmed. They are training the military. I've known this for a long time. To come to your house and take all your food and guns and blow your head off. You're just going to be killed. You're going to be put in a ditch. I videoed Marines training for this in Police State 2000, where they interrogate people and say, well, you know, what militia are you part of? Where'd you get your guns? Well, I'm from San Francisco. And then the Marine Corps colonel runs in and says he's not supposed to be in here, even though I'd been invited to cover the drills in Oakland. And then I just sent in people as local observers when they had separate media events. They let the media in for one thing and then let the, quote, locals in. So I just sent people in as locals. And they got the Marines bringing out a militia member, putting him on his knees. This is in Police State 2000. It's online. It's free. And shooting him. And the Marine says, get ready to watch this execution. I mean, what do you think the Army and Marines do in Afghanistan? That's even been on Fox News, but they defend it. They go in villages and kill everybody. Remember that was first in the Ithaca Journal. They had a private Bruckheimer. This is like 7 years ago. And he goes, yeah, we're really defeating the enemy. We go in villages sometimes and kill everybody, including the children. And the Fox News had a general come on and say, well, that's only in certain extremist villages. That's why they'll bomb a wedding and kill 200 people to kill, quote, one bad guy. Well, they don't just do that for them over there. They're going to do that here, at least if they can get the military to do it. And who do they train them the number one enemy is? They train them the number one enemy is the American people. Gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, training veterans. And now preppers. And what happened in New Orleans? They wouldn't let people walk out on the highways that were high and dry. They wouldn't let the fire departments and police departments and Walmart and FEMA blocked everybody from coming in and helping, including the Coast Guard, who could get the power back on. Had big ships with giant generators. They blocked them. And for, 6-7 days, I mean, everybody go to the Superdome, and then the police stood back with the National Guard and wouldn't give people food or water as it was stockpiled, let the rapes go on, and giant flatbed trucks backed up with armored vehicles drove into the richest areas of New Orleans and surrounding areas, went in, blew safe doors off, looted and robbed, and took all the guns on video. On video. And people say, man, that was incredible they did that. No. They were ordered to. Yeah, there it is. New Orleans begins confiscating firearms as water recedes. What is that, Associated Press? Oh, New York Times. There you go. And remember, the police chief said, all the guns will be taken. No one will be allowed to be armed. But they didn't go into the crime-ridden areas and defend people being attacked. No. They went into some of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the country are in New Orleans. Houses that look like the White House, that same architecture. Things that are in architecture books I own. I mean, I recognize them on the news. They went into homes, some of them worth $15 million. They went in with houses with generators, lights, the owners, and they put them in handcuffs. And if they resisted, they beat them up or killed them. There was deaths. And they took their guns on the news. And they had the Army officer, I've played it probably 50 times here. The ABC reporter goes, you kill Americans. He goes, yeah, I kill Americans. I go in their house and I kill them. I kill them. And you've seen the news of the old woman. They come in her house. She goes, I'm staying with my dogs. I've got plenty of food. I've got my revolver. I'm safe. And the cops just punch her right in the face. Bam. Lay the old lady out. And I mean, you know what? We're coming to punch you in the face and take you, and your dogs are going to starve, and we're going to throw you in the back of a flatbed. We're going to take you to the Superdome where you can be gang raped. How's that sound? And again, this is truth, what I'm saying. This is the reality. So here it is. National Guard whistleblower, doomsday preppers will be targeted as terrorists. As terrorists. And Melissa Melton then breaks down all the links that I have here where it's admitted in the news. They're putting them on no-fly lists. They're targeting. They're putting them in databases. I mean, I've been to many public urban warfare drills where they always practice with guys in overalls with John Deere hats. Oh, this is America. Don't take my farm. You can't take it. Or I'm not going with you to that camp. And they, attention. You better go with us. And then after that, those that submit go to the FEMA camp. They also have people there begging to be in the FEMA camp to sell the troops that, well, this is something you want to be part of. And then they roll in the armored vehicles and the rest of it for the militias that don't leave their houses, and they just blow their houses up in the simulations. I mean, I've been to probably 15 of these. I've had listeners send me video from countless other drills, and it's always the same. They've got, what was in Hebron, Maryland, we got video. That was many years ago, but just a few years ago, it's in Police State 4, the rise of FEMA. We have the colonel on the show. We got him on. They're in Arcadia, Iowa, and they had the gun shop play the part of the terrorist. And they went and confiscated that, and then they went door to door, and it was in the newspaper how compliant everyone was for the gun confiscation drill. And then they went door to door practicing taking the guns in America. And they, again, had the Boy Scouts there going and reporting, yeah, my dad's got a gun. And we have this on tape from Hebron, Maryland. Boy Scouts with the Marines coming in and saying what's in their house and helping report their parents. You cannot make up the magnitude. People said, those can't be Boy Scouts. That's impossible. That must be fake. And now we have the New York Times from, 3-4 years ago, how the Explorer Scouts are training to do door-to-door and, quote, take out disgruntled Iraqi war veterans. Headline, New York Times, Scouts trained to fight terrorists and more. People laughed and said, oh, yeah, 14-year-olds, bring it on. Those 14-year-olds are 18 now. Anybody who knows the history of warfare knows, actually, 14-year-olds are about the best it gets because they're not afraid to die for whatever reason. They get excited. They're designed for war. Humans are designed for combat, ladies and gentlemen, designed to defend our tribes. They're designed at 13, 14 to want to go with the older warriors and fight. That's how it works. They arrest our development falsely. And the point is, they've got them ready, and they've been training since they're 13, 14 to come to your house and take your guns. People go, how dare you attack the Boy Scouts? I'm not attacking the Boy Scouts. I'm saying this is a fact. The Boy Scouts trained to take your guns. The Boy Scouts trained to take your guns. Let me say that again. The Boy Scouts trained to take your guns. I've got video. I've got kernels. I've got news articles. I got photos in the New York Times. I got it in triplicate. People thought I was a space alien in 1998 when we got that Hebron, Maryland footage that our listeners went and shot. And they sent me hours and hours of. We ought to put all that stuff online. I just used like 15 minutes of it in Police State 2000, just the highlights of it. I mean, it's got Marines walking over with machine guns saying, turn your cameras off, you're not allowed to film. And the police come and grab their stuff, but still thought it might be America and gave them the footage back, so we got it. We're talking about Marines with heavy machine guns walking up and saying, you're going to turn your cameras off. Well, no kidding, you don't want us to see plainclothes Marines and Marines in uniform training with the local scout troop how to turn mommy and daddy in.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
Don't want no shackles on me.
Neither do I, Jimmy.
Don't want no shackles.
We are back live, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't want no shackles.
Yeah, here's the New York Times. Scouts trained to fight terrorists and more.
I sat down with Big Brother.
A disgruntled Iraq war veteran has already taken out 2 people. One slumped on a desk. The other covered in blood on the floor. Bam, bam, the responding officers, 8 teenage boys and girls, the youngest 14, faced tripwire, a thin cloud of poisonous gas, and loud shots. Bam, bam. And the ROTC in college, all of them, for decades, they trained to fight one group, 90% of the time. Gun owners, veterans, and people wearing John Deere hats. And I've had so many troops call me over the years going, I used to listen to you when I was 15 with my dad and thought you were lying. And I joined the Army or Marines, and we went out and did drills, and guess what they were wearing? They were dressed like farmers. We're training to, it's true, my gosh, it's all true. Yeah, you bet it's true. You think I'm lying up here? If I'm lying, I'm dying. I don't believe in lying, folks. I believe in telling the truth, and people are scared of the truth. By the way, you want to hear some truth? We're going to get more into this attempted takeover, but it's outrageous. They won't get away with it if we just recognize it. But historically, really bad things have a way of happening because people can't believe it's happening. You've got to admit this is going on and get freaked out about it. People say, what do you want us to be, afraid? No, I inherently think you're like I am. I started finding out about this stuff 17 years ago. I didn't know 1/10 of what I know then, and I knew I better get involved. People want to enslave me. People want to take my guns. People want to get rid of the private property. They want to get rid of the family. They want to sit there and lecture me in an authoritarian way that I've got to stand down and give up my rights and that I'm bad. No, I'm going to stand up against you. How's that sound? It's a basic instinct for freedom. And you've all got it. You've got to rediscover it. And if you don't feel an absolute burning desire to resist evil, something's wrong with you. Bondage is not funny. It's not cute. And I will not let my 3 children live in bondage. I will resist the New World Order, or I'm going to die trying. Before people just sit around in their house loading guns up and saying, well, someday they'll come, engage in the info war now, and the tyranny will never get fully matured. But it may. They're trying to accelerate its maturing process right now because they can look at our trajectory and they know we're going to beat them. So the enemy's dangerous. They're a cornered rat in control of the financial system, in control of most of the states. They're trying to bring us into world government, trying to hide it in plain view after decades of denying it existed. We've got the initiative right now, and we've got the proof and the facts, and we have simply got to point out that we've been right. Now, let me go to this tape here. This is from CNN. It's up at Infowars.com. This should be one of the biggest stories in the country, but it's been out for 2 days. No one covered it. He said this on Piers Morgan 2 nights ago in front of everyone, and no one has picked this up. Ted Turner, I think it's good U.S. troops are killing themselves. CNN founder advocates UN take a role as global policemen. Here are a few of the clips with Paul Watson put text comments in between. Here it is. Ted Turner told CNN he thinks it's good that U.S. troops are killing themselves.
More American servicemen are
dying now.
Suicide.
From suicide over there than are dying in combat.
I mean, that's shocking, isn't it?
Well, no, I think it's good because it's so clear that we're programmed and we're born to love and help each other, not to kill each other, destroy each other. That's an aberration. That's left over from hundreds of years ago. It's time for us to start acting enlightened.
Was he about to say, I think it's terrific? You bet he was. Here it is.
That's shocking, isn't it?
Well, no, I think it's good.
After saying it's good that U.S. troops are killing themselves, Turner then advocates their role be usurped by the UN. Incredible. Incredible.
Ted, what do you think America's place in the new world order should be? It's always been seen as the global policeman. But as you said before, you know, it's hard to see with all these military conflicts where the winner and loser lies. What should America be doing
I think
globally?
The global policeman should be the United Nations.
There you go. UN soldiers commit suicide at a rate of almost 1 per day. U.S. soldiers do. Is this really a good thing? Well, yeah, he says it is. Ted Turner, you heard him right here.
No, I think it's good.
Oh, there you go. He thinks it's good. Ted Turner, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play that more, and the full unexcerpted clip is also in our article. Ted Turner, I think it's good. U.S. troops are killing themselves. CNN founder advocates UN take role as global policemen in a new world order. But the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center say I'm an extremist and evil. None of this is happening. None of this exists. Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure, and it's available discounted at Infowars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. Infowars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at Infowars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139. Police are taught that one of the founding flags of this republic, the Gadsden flag, liberty or death, don't tread on me, is terrorist. They are taught, and I have video of it sent to me from Kansas City by a firefighter at a police and firefighter conference with FEMA saying the founding fathers were bad. We have that in their official MIAC and Homeland Security training manuals, of course. And it's been national news now for about 3.5 years that they train to take on, quote, veterans. And Homeland Security said, you bet, veterans are the #1 terrorist. They're the #1 enemy. And that's just the way it is. And people will soon say it's patriotic to see their veteran neighbor hauled away to a re-education center. And re-education centers are in the new official Army manual. The Army responded to us 5 months ago and said, yes, that's a real document. You're not supposed to have it. They even use the term re-education camp that Mao Zedong used. So they could use different names. They want this all out in the open. We're going to take your guns. We're training Yugen forces against you, youth corps. In fact, they just ran in here with a mainstream article about Homeland Security is running around recruiting. Here it is, The Hill. Homeland Security to recruit from U.S. universities, just like the CIA is and operating domestically. We need to figure out how to get them into DHS effectively and keep them. Napolitano told the group, yeah, they're converting over the paramilitary dependents that are now going to run our lives in the collapsing economy. And if you think it's going to go away when Mitt Romney gets elected, go ahead and hold your breath. See how long that works for you. Not that I wish, that things wouldn't just get better with the president. This is a globalist agenda. That's why Romney and Obama are so close together on the real issues. The rhetoric's a little different, but when their actions, man, they are two birds of a feather that certainly fly together. So we're going to be going over all of that. Again, Ted Turner, I think it's good U.S. troops are killing themselves. And it's been out in the news for 2 days on CNN. No news report. No news report. And a listener sent this to Paul Watson early this morning. We went and looked it up. There it is on their website. They've got it posted about Ted Turner, talks about the New World Order, how great it is. But it doesn't exist. We're going to go to our guest here in just a moment. We'll just call him Soldier X, but we've got all his documents. He's currently in the National Guard, but National Guard whistleblower. Doomsday preppers will be treated as terrorists. Big breaking news also at prisonplanet.com, Infowars.net, and Infowars.com. Big news. This needs to get out to everybody, because if they can just quietly demonize veterans, gun owners, libertarians, conservatives, preppers, then the cops and the military will start buying into it. We've got to publicly, it's always a battle, pushing back and forth. It's continual. You give up, they win. We're starting to get the initiative. That's why they're getting desperate and fighting back. So we're in this fight. In fact, we're like in round 6 here of a 12-round bout. We're toe-to-toe. We've got the initiative, but they're coming out swinging. And they can stage false flags. They can do anything. But we've got to just put the full energy in to exposing these people. And that means demonizing them with their actions. That means using the truth, the ultimate tool against tyranny. They've got black propaganda. That means lies. All information warfare is called propaganda. It doesn't even have a negative connotation in the truth semantical breakdown. When I say, that, hey, it's good to get exercise and eat organic food, that's health propaganda. It's true. It's healthy what I said. It comes from my heart and research. Because telling the truth feels so good. Standing up to evil feels so good. People say, oh, thank you for telling the truth. Are you kidding? I'll die for the truth. That's the thing about people that serve evil. Once you get some petty power, I guess I'm just not like them. And listen, those of you out there that do love good and have it in your heart, it's time to fight. It's time to put that into action. It's time to expose these people. It's time to get aggressive. Getting us on AM and FM stations, getting the magazine in bulk or giving them as a gift subscription. Great way to wake people up. Imagine 13 issues delivered to their door over and over again with incredible, amazing graphics and info to get them to go in and look at the inside, all the factoids. But you yourself need to get an access show or get a local radio show or put out a local newsletter or just or do banner hangs. Get aggressive. Get the buzz of liberty going. They want to shut us down with intimidation now. Yeah, we're watching you. Yeah, we'll arrest preppers and patriots. They're now admitting what we knew was being built in secret because they want to scare everybody. Like we're just going to urinate on ourselves and go, oh, okay, foreign banks, you're preparing to try to come arrest us? They will never be able to execute that. It's a bluff. They may be able to attack certain people that are predisposed to be demonized to try to scare everyone else to roll over. They thought, and it's been declassified, it came out in Congress, they'd attack some kind of weird cultish people. That's how the media pushed it. Some of it was weird, I know them, but a lot of it was lies, the Branch Davidians. They'd burn them down and kill them and set the precedent. That was one of the biggest awakenings ever. So they don't have air superiority either in the media. They could shut down the web now. We've already hit them so hard, so savagely. We've already basically, in a knife fight, we've already stabbed them about 14 times. They got a lot of adrenaline. They're still going. All we got to do is stay back. They haven't even hit us. You understand that? We've already stabbed them a bunch. I mean, they're bleeding out, folks. They're dangerous right now. They got that last push of adrenaline. We can beat these authoritarian scum if we absolutely get in their face and absolutely, with love for our families, convert that right into stomping down the New World Order. You can call it hate if you want, but it's not. It's something different. It's focused rage and passion against evil because you love your families, and you can just literally crush these people. We have the moral authority. We have God on our side, and you've got to step into that and take it in your hands. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the sites, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.